And welcome to Salt Lake City post-game here as he nudges me out of the screen. Look, this is a Saul Bookman show. We're going to go ahead and hear his mind about Arizona's 69-60 win. And it was pretty sweet, Saul.
It was.
Wildcats advanced to the Sweet 16. They beat St. Mary's 69-60 here in the round of 32. And we expected, or at least for me, Saul, I expected Arizona to come in and win pretty handily. You had St. Mary's Jock Landale. He was the big presence, but outside of that, they were pretty small.
Yeah.
So you take away Landale, you allow St. Mary's to beat you with a 3-ball, but Landale had his way in the first half. Talk about his performance and just what Dusan Ristic did wrong against him.
Well, you know, I don't know if there's too much that he did wrong. It's just that Arizona didn't really double or triple team him, which rightfully so they shouldn't have. Landale came in spots. Early on in the game, he was solid. Early on in the second half, solid. But there was a good amount of time where it was like 5 to 8 minutes where he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
So he wasn't as much of a factor as he could have been.
Yeah.
So I think that obviously worked out to the Wildcats' favor. Listen, Arizona's had trouble with teams like this before, mainly Wisconsin. Similar system, similar slow it down, kind of bleed out the clock kind of system. And this time they were able to overcome it. The athleticism for Arizona was just too much for the Gaels to handle. That's why they started getting a lot of foul trouble. Hermanson had 4 fouls, and he was playing tentatively. He was really their main three-point shooter tonight. And then they had a couple other guys with 3 or 4 fouls, and one guy even fouled out. So overall, I thought Arizona really just kind of stemmed the tide, kind of waited until their moment came, and once the second half kind of came, it was on.
And Landale, he had 11 points on 5 for 6 shooting in the first half. And then once the second half came, he was pretty limited.
Yeah, he was.
And Landale, he finished in double figures. Look at Saul's beautiful smile right there. Landale still finished in double figures, but he only had 4 rebounds in the second half. Yeah. So Landale was taken out of the paint more, and that was due to the presence of Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah. And
just talk about Markkanen's defense ability, because we sit here and talk about, Markkanen's shooting is so great. He's such a great offensive leader. He's a lottery pick. He's a great stretch forward because of his outside shooting. But today, it was his defense.
Yeah, it was absolutely his defense. You know, all season long, Sean Miller, if you watch him on the sideline, every time guys would pick up ticky-tack fouls, he would tell them, like, just keep your hands up, just keep your hands up, just keep your hands up. Well, Markkanen finally got to a point tonight where he absolutely was in position every single time and was able to use his athleticism because he was able to time the jumps right, block 2 of his shots, key blocks at key moments of the game. His overall effectiveness outside of the offensive side was tremendous. You couldn't ask for more from a guy like him.
I think if there was any word to describe this game, especially late in the first half and in the second half, Brooklyn. Raleigh Hawkins, he goes out in the first half with a dislocated finger. It was not like Kadeem Allen's finger. He said it was pretty much exactly like it, except for the fact that the bone was not out of the skin. X-rays came out and said he had a minor fracture. He said he will play next week. Coach Sean Miller said he's going to take a couple days off, but I mean, I can't even brush my teeth if I have a dislocated finger. I can't even get out of bed with a dislocated finger. And Raleigh Hawkins comes out here, gets a couple steals, gets some rebounds, and he wasn't offensively great, but those little plays definitely showed that he's a glue piece for this team.
Well, you know what's funny about that is I actually dislocated my finger, and I actually have it on tape. James Bacon, former ASU basketball player, coming down the court, loose ball, I dove, and my finger went right into his calf, and my finger's literally like this. And I have it on tape. And so when I saw Raleigh Hawkins go through that, I was like, oh, wow, that's like deja vu. I've seen it before. It's happened to me. But the thing with it is especially in the moment, you kind of put it out of your mind.
Yeah.
Because you realize what's at stake. Now, tomorrow, he'll probably wake up and he'll probably be just like you. Oh, man, I don't even want to get out of bed right now. Every time it throbs, he feels it in his head. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's going to be really painful. And the next couple of days are going to be vital to making sure that he gets enough swelling down and out of that finger to enable him to keep on playing, because it is also fractured.
Yeah.
There's a slight fracture in that finger. I don't know if you can tell, but right now, like, where are we at right here? So you can see this little knot right here. That's a fracture. And I've had that for 20 years after dislocating my finger. a slight little fracture on that. So you can still play with a fracture, still move your hands with a fracture. No big deal. The most important thing is just get that swelling out.
Mr. Bacon, Saul does not like you. Anyways.
He's a Sun Devil. Of course I don't like him.
So Arizona advances to the Sweet 16, and guess who they'll play? Sean Miller's old team.
Hey.
I mean, the stars align. They will play the Xavier Musketeers and San Jose. Saul, I mean, Sean Miller's played against Xavier before.
Yep.
I mean, he's undefeated against Xavier. I mean, what do you see Arizona kind of making their adjustments against the Musketeers?
Well, if Xavier plays the way they played tonight, man, they have their hands full.
Yeah.
Because they were 11 of 17 from 3 tonight. They were unbelievable all over the court. They shot the 3 very well. Bouillet, I can't pronounce his name. Bouillet or something like that. Anyway, he had 29 points. He's their lead guard. He's a phenomenal player. He made some money tonight, especially in the league. Arizona's going to have their hands full with this guy, but will they be favored? Absolutely, they'll be favored. And then I'm excited to see the other matchup. Gonzaga and West Virginia will be there firsthand to see both those teams play. Press Virginia and their full court press. It's going to be very interesting to see if the Zags can handle that. Yeah. That essentially, West Virginia is pretty much going to eliminate Karnowski with the use of the press. And it's going to be interesting to see if the guards can actually hold up through the course of the game, because I'll tell you what, tonight they faltered down the stretch in the second half against Northwestern and damn near gave up that ball game after being up by 22 in the second half.
You know what else fell? My bracket. It's completely in the dumpster.
You picked Northwestern to go to the Elite Eight.
Hey, when you have...
I had them going to the Sweet 16 to pull off the upset today, but that's as far as I had them going.
Hey, I'm a big fan of Seinfeld, okay? I had to do it for Miss Dreyfus. So,
sure.
Anyways, the Wildcats advanced to the Sweet 16 after beating St. Mary's 69-60. They'll be in San Jose next week. You follow us on Twitter at Wildcat Hoops and at Wildcat Sports.
We'll be in San Jose
for live coverage.
We'll be in San Jose.
We'll be in San Jose.
All your coverage starting Wednesday, live from SJCA.